Well, hello there, friends and family. Sure, I'm glad you could stop by tonight. I've gotten a lot of work to do, and you might wonder what that is. Well, I've got to get some potatoes processed and ready for dehydrating. And since you're here, I'm going to put you all to work. So come on over here. Let me show you what we got, okay? So y'all, what we got here in the sink, we washed up, oh, I don't know, about a bag full of potatoes there. Not sure how many. Now these are russet potatoes, and what we're going to be doing, you don't have to, is I washed them up with a vegetable brush. In fact, it's really not a vegetable brush, it's just a mild scrub brush. And then I'm going to be peeling them. Now, if you don't want to peel your potatoes, you don't have to. But like I said, these are russets, and they do have a little bit of a leathery skin to them. Now, didn't say that right, but so we are going to peel them. And as we peel them, we're going to be dropping them off in this here big old stainless steel bowl of water. Now that's the first tip I'm going to give you, kids. Whenever you're processing potatoes, you don't want to turn them all brown and nasty on you. Always keep them submerged in water. And then, what we're after here is when we get them all nice and dehydrated, we want them to look just like this. We don't want no black spots, no discoloration. Now you can have a little bit of brown, just like here. But mostly what you're wanting is a yellow to creamy white. And I've still got a pile of them to go here. So I'm going to show you just how I do it. Now I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. If you know a better way to do it than the way I show y'all tonight, well then by all means, you let us know down in the comments. So folks, let me get on to peeling up some potatoes. I'll get you all set up, and I got a extra peeler here. Any of you all want to step on over to the sink and help me get these potatoes peeled up, okay? Okay y'all, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little it's an old school potato peeler. I don't have one of those nice fancy ones. And I'm going to start peeling up these russets. And the reason I'm going to be peeling these, first of all, I didn't grow them. Second of all, if these were a red potato, yellow potato, Yukon Gold, something like that, I might not peel them, especially if I'd grown them myself. But I didn't grow these, and I don't know how they were grown. So I'm going to take that skin off, so there can't be nothing I don't want in my dehydrated finished products, such as pesticides, herbicides. I'm going to show you another reason I peel them. See right there? That brown discoloration inside the potato. Now I couldn't see that when the skin was on, but I can see it now. And that doesn't look too tasty, does it? I don't want to eat it, do you? And this one right here is not looking all too great. I mean, I'm having to get on in that potato quite a bit, and it's not looking fine. So we're going to have to break out a knife. And we're going to cut that on out of there, because I don't want that. I just want nice white potato. Then what we're going to be doing, and I'm just going to take you over here so you know, got that bowl of nice chilly filtered water, and we're just going to pop that potato right in there. That's going to keep it from turning brown or gray and oxidizing. Always keep your potatoes submerged underwater till you're ready to start cooking them, okay? So I've got quite a few to go here, and then one of y'all step up and help me peel them with that extra peeler. Sure would be appreciated. And once we get these potatoes all peeled up, I'll come on back and we'll proceed to the next step, okay? So y'all, somebody grab that extra peeler for me, and I'll make room here at the sink, and we'll get this done. Okay, y'all, as you can see, we've got all those potatoes peeled on up. Thank God Trixie jumped up on the counter and slapped on her apron and grabbed that extra peeler. Of course, I did have to promise her some treats. So with Trixie's help, we got them knocked out. Now what we got to do is we got to get them sliced up. There's two ways you can go about it. You can use one of these right here. This is what's called a mandolin. And let me tell you something. That blade is extremely sharp. I would know, because about 3 weeks back, I trimmed a pretty good sized piece out of my thumb. And it's taken the last couple of weeks to heal up. Now the other way you can do it is with a chef's knife. I've got right here. And then of course cutting board. Now, I'm most likely going to try to use this mandolin. But what I'm going to do this time, instead of using my bare hand, I'm going to come right on over here. And I'm going to be using this thing right here. This is actually a guard that you place on top of whatever vegetable you're going to be slicing through there. And it protects your hands. And if you've got a mandolin and you don't have one of these, you need to get one. It may not look quite like this one. I've had it forever. But I'll definitely use one of these unless you want a piece of yourself going in your bowl. So, let me get y'all set back up and we'll get to slicing some potatoes. Well, I've got that mandolin set up on another bowl there with filtered water. And we're going to start getting these potatoes sliced. I'm going to move this cutting board out of the way. I'm going to bring this on over here. Just like that. Now I've got my guard. But until we get it down a ways, and all you do is you just bring it across. Just like that. Once you get a little flat on it, take this, stick it on top, and hopefully you stick it better than I did, and you just keep back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. See? That guard's going to make it where you can't get all cut up. Now, you see right there? It's going to get down so small that you can't do no more with it. And you're going to take another one here again. Make sure very careful when you're not using that, and just keep on going. And I'm a little nervous now since I wounded myself last time. But that's all there is to it. It's just that easy. And like I say, if using one of these makes you nervous and that, just use a knife. Slice them up. And let me show you what thickness we got going on here. Okay? That's what we got right there. I'd say about 3/16, wouldn't you? Yep. That, one of the reasons you want a thinner slice is these are going to dehydrate quicker, which let me tell you, it's still going to take about 8+ hours. but they're also going to rehydrate quicker and also cook quicker. And that's why I like slicing them. Now you could cube them. You could make cubes. You could make hash browns and dehydrate them. You can do any of that. I just prefer slices. So let me get the rest of these sliced up, and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I've got all those potatoes all sliced up into nice uniform slices. So they're all ready to go to the next process. Now you're going to need some things. One, you're going to need a pot. You're going to need to bring some water to a rolling boil. Sorry you got fogged up there, folks. So we've got that at a rolling boil. And you're also going to need to fill up a container or your sink with cold water. And I've got a milk jug there that I fill up with water and freeze in my deep freeze to chill that water down even more. So let me get you set up and I'll show you the next step in my process. Okay, now we've got that water at a nice rolling boil. And I've got another bowl that I filled up here with some of those sliced potatoes. And we're just going to start slipping them off into that water, just like that. We're going to kick that up on high. And depending on how much you put in there, depends on how much you knock the boil down that water. Now I know just about how much to put in. So it's still lightly boiling. What we're going to do next is we're going to set the timer for 6 minutes. And we're going to let them sit in there in that boiling water for 6 minutes. And what that's doing is that's blanching those potatoes. And it's going to partially cook them. And it's this step right here that keeps them from turning all brown and black. Most important. Now once that timer goes off, we're going to get them on out of here and we're going to get them back in that ice cold water we got waiting on to stop the cooking process. So we'll bring you back then. Okay, that timer's going off. That's been 6 minutes. We're going to get this off the heat real quick. And now we got to get this drained over at the sink. Let me take y'all on over there so you can see what we're doing. So there we are. Now it'd be nice to have 2 people, but we don't. Now y'all might get fogged up here. Get that water on out of there. We're going to take this little scoop. It's still got some water in there because it's just so hard to do this by yourself. And we're going to go ahead and get those potatoes slid off into this cold water. There we have it. Now we're going to let them cool on down. And all that's going to do is stop the cooking process. And then we're going to take them out, drain them, and they're ready to go in the dehydrator. So we've let those potatoes cool down in that ice cold water. And now we're ready to start loading up our dehydrator. And what I've got here is it's just an old Mr. Coffee food dehydrator. It's got one speed and one temperature. In fact, it was actually my father's. He gave it to me, about 20 years ago. And all you're going to do now is take those potatoes and you're going to lay them on that tray. Make sure you don't stick them on top of each other. Nice and careful. Just like that. It's nothing special, folks. Just get them in there the best you can. Try to get as many as you can. I've got to try to get as many as I can because this here dehydrator's only got 5 trays. Now, these potatoes are partially cooked during the blanching process. So they can be a little fragile at this point. So you got to be a little careful with them. And there we have it. And you just, once you fill up one tray, you just put another tray on there. Start the whole process over again. Just like that. Nothing to it. Now I didn't cook up enough to fill up all my trays. That's okay. We'll put what we got. And the next go around, we'll just cook more than we did. So now what I want to do, just to show you what happens if you don't blanch them. In that there partial tray there, I'm going to take some of these unblanched potatoes. These are just sliced raw potatoes, and we're going to place in here on this top tray. Just going to give them a quick shake. Just going to put a few of those in there. Now y'all remember, the unblanched was on the left side. Blanched, little pieces over here on the right side. And we'll come back to this in approximately 8 hours. It may take a little bit more. And I'll show you what we got, okay? Let me get the lid put on that dehydrator. So it's going. Now, you'll notice I still got some potatoes left there. They'll be just fine sitting in that water. As long as they're covered, they can stay that way for up to 24 hours. Not going to cause a problem. I've done it for years. So, once these get nice and dehydrated, I'll bring you all back, show you what we got. Well, hello there, or good morning. Now through the magic of YouTube, it's the next morning. We put those potatoes on dehydration and dehydrator late last night. I think it was around 10:30. Well, now it's 10 hours later. So we're going to take a look at what we have. They're done now. Now the one thing I want you to remember before I take the lid off of these is remember what I did there on the last tray. On the right side, I put what was left of the blanched potatoes. On the left side, I took some unblanched potatoes straight out of that big bowl where I was keeping them submerged, and I placed them on that last top tray. So let's go over and take a look at that first. So here we are. We're back at the dehydrator. I've turned it off. We're just going to take it top off right now. Now, I want you to remember, on this side, these were the small pieces I had left that were blanched. They're on the right side. On this left side, these were the unblanched, and I'm just going to zoom on in here. Let's take a look at these right now. How are those looking? Those look appetizing? They don't to me. See that right there? And that's just what you're going to get if you don't blanch your potatoes prior to dehydrating. I don't care what anybody said. Now there are videos out there on YouTube that tell you you can do this. And they'll also tell you that they don't taste no different. No, I'm not going to stick these in my mouth because I already know they taste different. Because I was looking for a easier, faster way to do it too. And I did this with a lot of potatoes once upon a time. And then I went ahead and rehydrated them, and I cooked me up some. Trust me, folks, they are not tasty. Now, yes, if you put enough seasoning, bacon grease, and what have you on them, like the people do in the videos that say they taste just the same, maybe you can stand them. But first of all, they look terrible. And sort of, I eat with my eyes just as much as I eat with my nose and my stomach. So, let's take a look at some of these others down through the trays. Ooh, doggy, look at that. Look how nice those look. And we'll take a look at the next tray. Yep. Those look fine. And the bottom tray. Now I didn't do any rotation. I didn't restack them. I just let them dry in this dehydrator for right nearly 10 hours. Now, you'll see some of them, as we see here, got a little bit of brown to it. I'm not sure why that happens. But I think I only got 3 or 4 like that. But what I want to show you too is I want to put some of these side by side, some commercially dried potatoes. And it just so happens I dug around my pantry and I found a box. So let me set you up. We'll open these, pour them out here on the counter, and we'll compare them to the ones I dehydrated myself. See how we came out. Okay, y'all, I got some Idaho Spuds here. Classic scallop potatoes. You can see them right there. It's got a best by August 13th, 2018. Oh, a little bit past their best buy. They'll still be okay. But let's open these up real quick. We'll try to. As you can see, they have not been opened before. But we got them opened up here. Now the one thing I want you to note, don't know if you can see that, see they're not put in that box any special way. They're not in a plastic bag. They're not in a foil coated Mylar pouch. They're just thrown in the box here. Oh, plain cardboard box. We're going to pour them out on the counter. Right there. Got them right there on the counter. Spice packet still nice and dry. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some that I dehydrate. we're going to take the lower tray. And we're just going to take and put them out there. Just for comparison. And yes, I did clean my counter before I started all this. So there we go. So we got mine, we got theirs. Let me bring you up close. Take a look at it, see if we did as good as the commercial boys. Okay, there's the ones straight out of the box. Here's mine right here. Looks the same to me. I don't see no black in theirs. I see more brown. There's mine. I'd say I did just as well as the people who do this commercially for a living. So I'm happy. So y'all, just to recap here, what we did. We washed up the potatoes. Then we peeled them. Then we sliced them 3/16 of an inch thick. Here, you can see the thickness of mine right there. And over here, you can see the thickness of theirs. Exactly alike. Imagine that. So, sliced them up with that mandolin, and we kept them submerged in the water. We still have some we got to process right there. And then we brought a pot of water that we have right over here to a rolling boil. Then we add the potatoes to it. Not too many. Just enough so where it was still just boiling. We set the timer for 6 minutes with the lid on. When that timer went off, we went ahead and put them in ice cold water. Well, we drained them first, then we put them in that ice cold water. Once they cooled down from the cooking process, we took them out, we drained them, and we loaded them on the trays of dehydrator and put the lid on, and then we let them go. Now let me show you another thing. Now we're going to take one of these right here, see? That's from the box. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. You hear that snap? Hopefully you can. Then I'm going to take one of Mr. Tom's right here, and we're going to give it a break. Hear that snap? That's dry. That's what you want to hear. You don't want to have them bend a little and snap. You want them to be a crisp break. They're plenty dry. Now what we're going to do, just so you can see the total comparison, is we're going to take the nasty ones that weren't blanched and we're going to put them here. So you can take a look and you decide for yourself how you'd like to do this. There we got all three examples. Bring y'all over here for a close look. Now these are the commercially dried that came out of the Idaho Spud box. These right here are the ones I dehydrated. These are also the ones I dehydrated. These were blanched. These were not. Now you tell me which ones you want to eat. I'll take these over here, or mine any day, preferably mine. Now, we got to start putting them in something. Now I do that a few different ways. I will put them in quart jars, like I have right here. And I'll put a lid and ring on them. I'll throw in an oxygen absorber. And they'll stay. No, I've lost those jars before, found them 4 or 5 years later, still just fine. Another way I do it is I put them in gallon Mylar bags. And I go ahead and throw in oxygen absorber, and then I vacuum seal them up. Now I use a gallon because that's just fine for 1, 2, 3 people. Now, when I had the whole family, I'd use a 5-gallon Mylar bag, put them all in there, throw in the appropriate amount of oxygen absorbers, seal them up, put them in a 5-gallon bucket, and put them away. I don't do that no more because I don't need to be opening up 5 gallons of potatoes anymore. Now something I do short term is I also use extra thick freezer bags. Let me show you. Now you don't want to use storage bags, and you don't want to use sandwich bags or something like that. I get the extra thick freezer bags, and you can tell what they are when you get them out. Put them in there. These are quart size, just perfect for me. And then I throw in oxygen absorber. And I've stored them this way and used them 3, 4 years later. Couldn't tell a bit of difference. Perfectly fine. This by far is the cheapest way. Now, we'll say this. You don't want to expose any of your dehydrated food to light if you can help it. Put it in a cool, dark place. Now if you want to dehydrate some and you want to put it in jars and use it fairly quickly and decorate your pantry or your kitchen with it, hey, I'm all for it. Looks pretty sexy. So that's pretty much it, folks. I don't know what more I can tell you about dehydrating. It ain't that hard. It does take time. I prefer it because I feel it's the most economical method. I don't got to constantly be buying canning jars, lids and rings. No, I can put them in them Mylar bags, or I put them in freezer bags. I also don't got to buy an expensive pressure canner. Of course, I do have one. And process it that way for canning. But that's my preference. If you want to can them, you go ahead. If you got the room to freeze them, go right ahead. Now, I got some in the freezer too. Those are for short-term use. So folks, hope you learned something. And as always, this is how I do it. And there's other ways out there, I'm sure. And I'm sure down in the comments, some of you will be more than glad to tell me what I did wrong, or other ways that are better. But you know, I've only been doing it this way for about 47 years. My parents before me. It's served us well. So, with that said, I'm going to leave you now. Till I see you on the next video. I want each and every one of you to take care. Stay safe out there. And God bless you all. Goodbye for now.